if you had $100,000 to invest? Would you set it aside as a down payment for a property, or will you invest it in the stock market? In today's video, we're going to be comparing real estate and stocks investing to figure out which investment is better for you, so stay tuned. What's going on YouTube? Pierre here, the first and only apartment locator coach. But before we start, if you're new to my channel, please consider hitting the subscribe button. So which is better, investing in real estate or investing in stocks, okay? This is a long-standing question and one that hasn't been answered. So to answer this question, let's just assume two things first, okay? One, that you're interested in buying a house and not a commercial property, right? And two, that you're interested in index funds and not individual stocks. Let's take a quick look at the history of the stock market. The stock market has historically returned an average of 9 to 10% annually, right? The S&P 500 is comprised of 500 of America's largest publicly traded companies, right? And it's considered the benchmark measure for annual returns. It includes capital appreciation, and the second one is the dividends. However, stock market returns vary greatly from year to year, right? And they rarely fall into that average. The market's long-term average of 10% is only the headline rate, right? But it's really reduced by inflation. Real estate, on the other hand, is a little different, right? There's a little bit of capital appreciation, which is capital gains, right? But the bulk of your money is coming in the form of rental income, right? This is why apartment locating is an easy business to succeed in, because there is never an ending cycle of people renting their first apartment. Anyways, though, according to the Census Bureau data, the average price of an American home since 1960 has increased value by around 5% annually. And over the years, homes have also increased in terms of size, right? The average home in 1940 was 1,246 square feet, right? Isn't that interesting? And in 2010, it actually doubled to 2,430 square feet, right? So of course, like we're going to be paying more, right, for the houses. So let's just assume that the appreciation for home is less than 5%, right? Let's just call it like 4% appreciation, right? You can also make about 5 to 6% in rental income off that property. So if you combine both the appreciation along with the rental income, it's about the same amount as investing in the stock market, right? So basically, if homes have appreciated 4% and your annual rental income is 6%, the total annual appreciation is 10%, which is the same as investing in the stock market. Okay, so if you had $100,000 to invest, whether you decide to invest in real estate or the stock market, both of these will generate around the same percentage annually. Okay, and remember guys, these are just average returns, right? Your market may be completely different, and in some areas homes appreciate far faster, right? And in some cases that can go up to 15% appreciation. It all depends on your local market. It's really important to do your own analysis for a specific area, right? So if both generate the same income annually, which one is actually the best option for you, right, in terms of an investment? It's a really good question. And here are 10 factors that you should be looking at, which is going to help you decide, which one to invest in, right? So number one, liquidity. The stock market is a liquid investment, right? Let's say you decide to invest $100,000 into the stock market, but then you realize that you needed the money to buy a new car, or you suddenly had an emergency and you needed some cash. Well, because the stock market is liquid, it's easy to convert your investments into cash, basically, right? All you gotta do is go to your brokerage and sell your stocks. But with real estate, it's not that easy, right? You have to put your house on the market, and it could take months or a year. So when it comes to liquidity, stocks do have an edge. I know it's hard for me to admit that because I'm like a biased real estate agent, but it needed to be said. Anyways, number two, okay, the amount of work. When you invest in index funds, right, there's virtually no work needed to be done. All you need to do is set up an automatic transfer to your index fund and let the index fund do what it does, right? Real estate, on the other hand, can be work intensive unless you don't mind keeping up with maintenance and repairs. You can also hire property management to take care of that, but it does cost money. So number three, control, right? When you invest in the stock market, you have little control over how well your investment does. Right? On the other hand, if you invest in real estate, you have a lot more control, right? You can pick out how much you want to invest in the property, you can add equity and value, and you can decide how much rent you want to rent your house for, right? And you can also even choose your renters. That's why I personally prefer real estate investments, right, over any kind of stock market investment, right? I'm kind of biased, but I mean, think about it. Like if you invest in a stock, right, and the stock is not performing that well, you're basically out of luck, right? Like you can't really influence. How are you going to influence that stock to do better, right? Are you going to sit down and on a piece of paper, like write a letter to the CEO of the company? Hello, Mr. CEO person. Your company is going down. You know, it's like, what are you going to do? Try to write a motivational letter to try to motivate the CEO to run a better company?
Oh, no.
The point is that there's less control, there's less influence, right? But with real estate, even if your home isn't becoming rented, right? Like, let's say it's taking a long time for the property to get rented. There's still several things you can do, right? I mean, you can mow your lawn, right? You can paint the walls all around the property, right? And then quickly increase the value of that property, right? And then while you're waiting for a long-term renter, you know, you can list your property on like Airbnb or something, right? And then super quickly get per day rentals and just get rentals in there, and then just start building cash flow really fast, right? So the Airbnb and the HomeAway short-term rental models, you know, works, right, with respect to the hotel lodging, additional taxes, etc. But at least, you know, even though I'm paying more for hotel or lodging taxes on top of the rental tax, right, at least I can do something about it, right? I like having control and I like having influence in my own investments, right? And you can't really do that for stocks. Number 4, though, convenience to get started, right? With index funds, you can literally start in a matter of hours, right? All you have to do is go online, find a stockbroker, and there's a bunch of apps out there too, and they let you do all this for free. So you just fund the account, and then you can start investing right away. But in real estate, you know, you do have to get a real estate agent. You'll need to find a property, do inspections, make offers, all of these just to get started. And it can take a lot of your time, unless you work with a great agent, but you know, the time aspect to get things started is definitely real. So number 5, right, cost to get started, right? With index funds, you can start with as little as like $25, right? In fact, Charles Schwab's, Robinhood, Square, SoFi, and some other cases, ETFs for $25 or more, right? Because on the other hand, real estate requires a lot of upfront money to invest, right? And it's not just a down payment to get started, right? There's other costs associated that don't even go towards the actual asset, right? There's things like escrow, inspection fees, and a whole bunch of different fees that are associated with getting started, right? That's why I always say, and I always tell my students, like, it's never a waste of time to get your real estate license, right? Because if you're buying a house and, you know, and you're acting as a buyer's agent, which is totally legal and allowed in most markets, you can free up 3% commission out of thin air, and then cover all the little fees and assets that aren't really, you know, going towards paying off your asset or your investment, right? So that's why getting your real estate license is never a waste of time. All right, so number 6, volatility. With the stock market, your investment will fluctuate and decline over a short period of time, right? While real estate is an appreciating asset, right? Real estate moves in cycles, right? Sometimes up, sometimes down. Yet over the years, real estate is consistently appreciated, right? It's a way to generate wealth and comes with a lot of tax breaks as well, on top of the revenue generating point. All right, so number 7, diversification, right? Index funds are attractive for several reasons, right? Including diversification and low expense ratios. So when you purchase index funds, you're exposed to all of the stocks in an index, right? The idea is that the stocks that are appreciating will make up for the stocks that are depreciating, right? But with real estate, on the other hand, like, it's pretty much putting all of your eggs in one basket if you own a single property, right? Because if something happens to that property, or your tenants are like not able to pay the rent, you know, the income will stop coming in, but the mortgage still needs to be paid. So, you know, that definitely needed to be said. So number 8, tangible investments with real estate, right? It's very tangible. Okay, so as you can see, like, you can live in it, you can change it over time. But stocks, on the other hand, like, you almost have to go out on faith, right? Like, you have to kind of believe that it's there, right? So like, unlike the old days where whenever you bought a stock, you actually got a piece of paper that was a stock. Nowadays, it's like something that you see on a screen, right? Investing in stocks means you become one of the owners of a company on paper. So if the managers of that company run it to the ground and it goes bankrupt, then you basically lose everything, right? So number 9, length of investment. You should consider how long you're willing to invest your money, right? For the stock market, it's a really long-term investment, and because of volatility, you want to keep your money in there for a long period of time, right? So if you're investing to have regular cash flow, then real estate investment is probably better for you, right? Personally, I don't like the idea of traditional long-term investing, where you need to sacrifice your money this year and next year and the year after that, and then every other year in the future just to see if you made a profit. I don't want to wait that long, right? So that is definitely an important thing to talk about, is how long is this actually going to take? So if that's a concern for you, you might want to look into more real estate investments. Just look at what Grant Cardone is doing, right? What he does is he buys multifamily apartment complexes, right? And then he lives off of all the cash flow that's coming in for multiple units, right? Rent money, and he's living off the cash flow. It's awesome. It's awesome. And then later in the future, he flips the multifamily building for profit, right? So that's super cool. I mean, talk about super epic cash flow in these big multiple unit multifamily building investments, right? That's why I like real estate more. There's tons more cash flow. It's still an investment. It's known to appreciate a lot, and you can actually sort of influence it, right? If things aren't really going your way, at least you can make it look better. You can paint the property, freaking mow the lawn, you know what I mean? And do little things that just like increase the value like by force, right? You don't need to write a letter, to some CEO trying to motivate him so that way your stock the price doesn't fall, right? Super epic cash flow. Anyway, so finally, number 10, right? What are you passionate about? Right? There isn't really a simple answer when deciding whether to invest in real estate or the stock market. Identifying the better choice depends on your personality, your lifestyle preferences, your comfort with risk, and a lot of more things that we just talked about. These 10 factors will help you decide whether or not you want to invest in your real estate or in the stock market. You can write these factors down if you want, weigh them out, and develop what you prioritize. Now, my personal preference is obviously real estate because, like I mentioned earlier, I don't like the traditional way of long-term investing. Having a passive income stream is really, really important to me, right? Especially these days, right? And it comes with a couple of advantages as well, right? There's just no limit on passive income, and it can come from a variety of different sources, and it will ultimately lead you to financial freedom. So the best thing you can do is be your own boss, right? You don't have to answer to anybody other than yourself. You decide when you want to work, when you don't want to work, you set your own hours, and you can decide the best way to do things without interference from anybody else. That's why I'm a real estate agent, right? I make my own hours and I work whenever I want to, and then that's why I specialize in apartment locating. Well, anyways, it was pretty tough to make a comparison video of the two, but I guess it's fair to say that real estate investments have as much, if not more, return potentially than the stock investments, right? So there you have it, right? I hope you guys got value out of this video. How about you guys? What do you guys prefer? The real estate market, the stock market? Let me know in the comment section below on what you would invest your $100,000 in. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up or share it to a friend who'd benefit from this video. Thank you all so much for watching. Take care, and I will see you on the next one. But check out this video coming up right now because it's going to blow your mind.